Hello everybody, this is Diane. I am continuing work on the Trash to Treasure or Junky junk journals. Before I continue today, let me show you a few more of my mother's art pieces. I forgot to show them in the other Trash to Treasure videos that I was doing. This one isn't dated, but this is another of my snowmen. And she did some freehand painting on his coat, just some little pine boughs and some holly around the border. And she likes to texture, add some layers of paint. You can see the blue and white. She just kind of dry brushed the white on there. And I love the way she does faces. He's a cutie. And this pair of snowmen. And they have some glitter on their cheeks and on the snow that's on their hats. Let me show them to you one at a time. He's got a pretty scarf that's detailed and some packages, a little tree. I love the quilted coat that he's wearing. And this one also has a quilted coat. And this one is carrying a lantern and a Christmas stocking. And I brought in my nativity set that she made. I was so thrilled that she gave this to me. It looks like it's carved out of wood. It even has a wood grain look to it. But I don't know what they're made out of. Resin or something. I'm not sure. But look at the pretty Mary. Her beautiful face. And Joseph, and he's holding a lantern, and baby Jesus in the manger. Whoops. "2012 she made this. It took her a long time to do all these pieces. There's a couple of animals. There's a oxen and a donkey and we have one shepherd holding a sheep, a little lamb, and we have the three magi. Her colors are always spot on. I never see anything jarring. So those are the snowmen, because I showed you the other snowmen already. So what I have left to show you would be some angels and some ornaments. But for now, I'm just going to set these on the floor out of my way, and we're going to get going on these journals. So I've done quite a bit since you last saw them. And where'd the other one go? I did have to go to the store today. I had to buy a birthday present for a 1-year-old little girl. My great niece. My son and I are going to her birthday party Saturday, so I had to go buy a gift, and while I was there I bought my mandarin oranges and I bought some grapes while I was there. So there's my orange bag. I'm definitely going to be using this, and the wrapper I can use, and then this was for carrying. Don't you think I have to incorporate that somewhere? Of course I do. And I bought the grapes too, so they came in this bag with a little handle. So I don't know, I might do something with that. But what I want to do right now is add this to the cover. I had to pour out like almost 2 glasses full of pink lemonade, strawberry lemonade, so I could have this. I'm going to give it a little bit wider frame around that circle because I ended up sewing it. I glued it on and it didn't want to stay glued onto that cover. So I ended up sewing it, and of course it's your the foot of your needle has to be able to get by there. And I could put my zipper foot on, but I didn't want to. So if you didn't see the previous video where I explained about this, I will take a portion of probably this and cut it into a string-like piece and put a knot in it, so it, and then attach it to the back cover. So this would be hanging off the back cover, and then when you want to close the journal up, you just screw the cap on. And I got that idea, I didn't think of that, I got it from Lehman, who used the top of a hydrogen peroxide bottle. And she got the idea from somebody else. I don't remember who it was. But I happened to have these two, and I don't usually buy drinks. I just drink water. I don't like to drink my calories. Where'd the scissors go that I just had? There they are. But I just happened to have these. I saw pineapple orange juice, which I love. So I grabbed that, and then I saw the strawberry lemonade, so I grabbed that too. And, oh, I don't want to cover his face. I'll have to put it on like this. It'll have to be up a little high. So, I have black thread in my machine because I thought I liked black for this project. Well, let's move this around a little bit. I'm going to put it this way. Actually, I'm just going to cut it a little smaller. Hopefully I'll still be able to sew around it. And if I can't, I'll have to put my zipper foot on. If I can find it. I haven't sewn a zipper in so long. Yes, it can get by nicely. Now I'm not going to try to squeeze all of this stuff in under here, so I'm going to stop sewing here and just maneuver it a different way. I wish I could have glued it, but I really wanted to make sure it was secure. So I'm going to I'm going to have to do it 4 different ways so I don't bend the cover. So I'm going to do it this way for this side. And I'll go this way for the top. Okay. I'm gonna screw the cap on so I don't forget it, lose it. You know what I forgot to do was puncture the hole while it was still attached to the carton. I'm going to try to do it while it's right there. have my awl. There's a hole right in the center. Oh yeah, that was easy. All right, I'm going to cut my bag up. I really appreciate all of the comments that you've been leaving. Well, I've only shown one video of this so far, and I've had a lot of great comments, and you guys are excited. Oh, these oranges themselves have these little stickers on them. This one came off. I got stuck on the mesh, but I can peel some off of my oranges. So I really, really appreciate the comments that you're leaving. You're letting me know that you are excited about the Trash to Treasure journals, because most of us, at least me and many of you that commented, came to this craft through this Trash to Treasure notion, right? That's how it started, I think. That's how I first heard about it, about junk journals. And I don't necessarily, like I replied to someone's comment, I don't necessarily want to use trash and like packaging and stuff in all of my journals, but I do like to use found things like the vintage stuff that I find at flea markets. I'm going to make that hole a little bit bigger. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm having a little bit of a dizzy spell. At least I'm sitting. The world is spinning a little bit. I do get vertigo from time to time. And just while I'm sitting here, the world just started spinning. So hopefully it'll lighten up. I'm gonna try to put this through the hole and then tie a big knot so it doesn't want to slip through. I think I'll have to do multiple knots, like one on top of the other, to make it big enough. Wow, that just tore right apart. This might not work. This doesn't feel as plasticky as many of the mesh bags that I've had. It like just wants to come apart. But we'll try it. They're not ending up on top of each other. Oh, I almost made it go on top of that one. Just going to try one more. I think I'm going to have to use something else, because see, that just wants to pull apart. That is not working. That wasn't a very good mesh bag, but I'll use it for other things. Well, that's disappointing. So on this cover, I made a pocket out of Tim Holtz stencil or wallpaper package, and this sack. And what did I do? Did I do anything extra to this one besides sewing this on? I made this pocket out of a piece of file folder. This file folder, it's the inner part that's light pink. I didn't put a pocket on that side yet. Alright, so I took my dryer sheets that I had and I sprayed them with a variety of ink sprays. So I'm going to cut a few strips of it. This is used dryer sheet, so it doesn't have the waxy feel that an unused one has, and it doesn't smell. Let's take our first signature, and I want to add one of these as like a paper ruffle somewhere. This one I added a cluster of scrap pieces. I think I'll put the ruffle right here. I think this page needs a little something. You can take your papers that you use, like I have the papers right here that collected the overspray from when I sprayed those dryer sheets, and so these can be cut up and used in the trashy junk journals too. Any kind of papers that you use under your pages that you paint and spray and stuff, that'd be fun to make ephemera with. Here's the page that I made with the... Oh, I found another one that I want to make. I had this cookie box, and it has just a tab that slots in instead of that it's a little more fidgety. I'm going to leave that there, but thought maybe I'd make one with this too. So I have a piece of file folder, or a used file folder that I'll use. So I'm going to cut it to that width. Sorry, I dropped my piece. Had to collect myself again. So with this one, we figured if we put this here, right on the edge, and then put this on this side, and then you can fold it over and slot that in there. And let me see. I'd like to have it fit into this journal, so I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller because that journal is narrower. I didn't even cut it. I haven't replaced my cutter blade in a long time, so it's probably getting to be about time to do that, especially if I'm going to cut manila. I think this will fit in there, yeah. So, and maybe instead of gluing, since I'm at my sewing machine, I will sew it. put it in the slot so we make sure we have it in the right place. The boxes are great because you can use them for all kinds of things, like for the covers, and I've also used them as pages in these books. But if you take the flaps off of the bottom and the top and the little side flaps, you have all kinds of tabs to use, and you'll see how I use some of them in these books. I think I might have put this on a little different than I did the other one. But it works. So this was the other one I did. Well, I guess I did it the same. And I decided well, I think that when I put it in the cover, this sticks out from the signature, but when I put it in the cover, it's contained, so I might leave it. This goes with this book. This ice cream cone box book needs a few more things to bulk it up because the spine is bigger. So let's work on the ice cream cone book. Put this one aside for now. Let's see what we need to do. So there's one of the other boxes that I had. I just put it in as a page. And here is one of the bottom flaps of the graham cracker box. This is a little perfume sample from Avon, so it was folded like that with a little spine, and some of these, they were punched, these hinges were punched in, so there was a little vial of perfume sample stuck in those little hinged areas. But I flattened out the hinges and then folded it, but this end is bigger. I could cut it off, but I don't mind it like this because I folded the spine flat. And then I see there's the bottle of the perfume, and then I just took a scrap of paper and accordion folded it and just sewed one piece of it into there. Made a little booklet. There's a piece of stencil packaging. I used a lot of the clusters that were made with scraps. Some of them I made and some were given to me in a Happy Mail. I took one of those brochures, those tourist brochures, and this is vintage, and I cut it down to the right height and just put it in with a flappy page. I had to trim a little bit off of that. There's a Cool Whip top, and I cut it to put on as a tuck spot. There's the blue tip matches box, and it was torn right here, so to reinforce that I just glued on a button. There's part of a butter package. You can journal on the back. It's not waxed on the back, and so this is the flap part, but I cut it at an angle like a tag and then added the bread tab on there. There's another piece of, oh, I didn't know I had them both in the same signature. Where'd the other one go? I might switch one page out to another signature. That's an advertising card that came with a book. There's a little slide, and this is just a piece of a envelope that I had cut off. So you can journal on that, so I just tucked it in there. Here's the bottom of one of the packages, the bottom flap, and I cut it in half. So this is half of it, and the other half is sewn onto something as a pocket, I think. And I used a lot of pieces of that big, the long, thin craft paper, like a mailing paper. I had that vintage package of it, so I used a lot of that. And there's a watermelon sticker. A little piece of the ice cream cone box. And a package of plastic spoons. So I want to put a piece of this in here. How about right there? This is from a magazine. There's a bunch of yoga poses right there. Toothpaste box makes really great long thin tags. Oh, here's another of the perfume sample cards. So this will go in the other journal, but these were, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. They were poked out like that so that they would hold the vial. And instead of painting these little tags, I just put gesso on them so you can write on those. I'm going to leave a link again to Lehman's shop, or Lehman's videos, because she's doing a lot of videos on how she made her Junky Junk journal. And hers is a lot different from mine. Hers has a lot more packaging and less papers in it, I think. And hers is so cool because it has so much packaging in it and fun stuff. So you'll want to see that. I will link that below. That won't work. Thank you for your kind comments too about my mother's paintings, the snowmen that I showed in the other video. I haven't spoken to her since I put that video up, but when I tell her, she's going to be just so thrilled that you guys, that I'm bragging about her for one thing, and that you guys really love her work. That will make her very happy. She used to sell at craft shows for years, and she didn't do it till after all the kids were out of the house. You know, she didn't really have time to do her art. That she never did art when I was growing up. It was only after her 6 children grew up. And my oldest brother was 13 years older than the youngest sister, so that was a lot of years that she was busy raising children and didn't have time. She did a lot of sewing and needlecraft, and I've shown you some of her needlework that she's done. Crocheting and knitting and embroidery and all that kind of stuff she did. But she didn't get to do art, like painting. And she's still doing it. She still has some of these figurines, and she has a little table set up in the apartment she shares with my dad now. Okay, so those 2 pockets look cute together, and I'll just have to find something to put in them. These look like a journaling card you would use in a regular journal that you make, but they are recipe cards that came out of a vintage, or a book that I found at the thrift store. So it's got the recipe on one side, but this is for a mix. You were supposed to have the mix in a jar, layered up in a jar, all the ingredients. And then you would give it as a gift with this recipe, and then the person would use the muffin mix and add all these other ingredients. So this is not a complete recipe, but that makes a great journaling spot. I'll put something else in there. Okay. I'm so disappointed in this mesh, but I'm going to sew a piece here. That slide is glued down, but it won't hurt it to sew through it. Just adds a decorative element there. Doesn't serve a purpose. I want something to put one of these tags in, so I'll have to make a little pocket. Let's go to the next signature. The signature has a lot. I can tuck something in there too. This would be the next signature. So this one is different. I took a Q-tip package that I had, and it was in a plastic box type of thing, and this was in the lid like that. I don't remember why this was. Oh, this was down the sides. It was open and it was down the sides of the box. So I glued this all closed to make a little pouch, and I took this and just wrapped it around there and put a paper clip on it and put these things in the little pouch that I made. It's fun to take the items that are oddly shaped and just manipulate them, figure out a way to use them. Oh, I already have one in here. This is another piece from that Q-tip box. So I just put one tag in and let the other one dangle out. And they're gessoed on both sides. You can write on both sides. So I'll save this one for the other journal. I think the other journal has a card with one of the pleated pieces on it, so I'll make a tag or a pocket for that. Okay, here's another piece of that box, the bottom of the box that I sewed on as a little pocket. So I can put a little, some sort of a little tag in there and then tuck something in there. Here's a piece of that craft shipping paper. And the cellophane was very fragile and it was cracking, it was cracked. And I was going to just glue it. It was coming apart and I was going to glue it, but when I handled it, it just started cracking more. So I replaced it with a piece of the see-through stuff for an overhead projector. And this is from a calendar that's in German. Somebody sent me these pages. And it's got pretty pictures to show through the window. And so I wrapped it, this is where the fold was around the package, and I wrapped it around there, and you can see this is where the, I think where the, I don't know, but it's, you can see that it's got perforation type pieces on there, so I left it there. All right. There's a piece of the Mott's applesauce box, and it's got a piece of the ice cream cone box tucked into that window. I think I will sew this as a pocket there, and this can be a tag somewhere. And this can go in it. I feel like I didn't do much. Guess I talked too much. And only got about 5 minutes left. How does that go? Like that. I was just thinking of something else. Oh, I know. There is something. This. I knew that there was a piece of plastic I needed to tie something to. I was going to try to tie a piece of the mesh to it, but I don't think I'll do that. So I'll tie this ribbon that came on my Bath and Body Works gift shopping bag. I think I glued this on camera, didn't I? I just glued it on with a paint chip behind it as a tuck spot. I don't think I'll tie it in a bow. It's a rather thick ribbon, so I think just tying it in a knot would be the best thing. It's thick, it's sturdy ribbon, it's not very thin and pliable. Besides, if I just tie it in a knot, it'll go further. This end is particularly stiff. It's like it has some sort of a finish on it so it doesn't fray or something. Let's see how that looks. I might have been off camera while I tied that bow. was thinking when I was looking at this journal earlier, after I did some work this morning on it, and I had it all put together like this to see how it looked, and I thought, this, I hope I have a box that will fit this, because this is going to add width to the box when I ship it, if somebody wants to purchase this. So I might have to use some vintage postal twine that I have to tie into that cap and attach it to the back cover. Does that qualify as junk? The post office didn't want it anymore. Maybe I'll just put that up there, just for a little embellishment, but I'll glue it. My glue's on the other side of the table. This is getting pretty close to being done. I've added enough stuff to it that it's thick enough now for the spine, and I want to make sure there's room for you to add stuff to it. So I probably won't do a whole lot more to this. I know I have a little more to do in it, but I don't need to do a lot more. Trying to grab a hold of the other one. It's slippery. Okay. Because I need to tie something in this piece of plastic too. This was from the top of the carton of oatmeal. So let me try a piece of this. It probably won't work, but I'll try. I thought it was going to be really cute with this orange mesh on it. Maybe it'll be okay. I'm not going to have anything depending on it. Boy, it sheds terrible when you cut it. It's not going to have anything hanging on it or pulling on it, so maybe it'll work. Just left on there like that. I forgot where it was. I guess it doesn't matter. It can go anywhere it wants. Now let's see how it all looks. I might have to fatten these a little bit. Doesn't need too much more. Yep, that looks good down there. I hope this doesn't get in the way of, I guess you'll have to pull this through there to tie it on there. Just another fun quirk of a Junky Junk journal. Alright, I'm going to have to go before the camera shuts off, but I'm definitely going to add this somewhere, and I will add a piece of this to this journal because I did put one in there. So I do have some more playing to do, and I'll use some more of this stuff in both journals. And we're almost done. So I did reinforce the cardboard spine by just adding fabric. That's all I added to it, and the fabric goes across the bend so that it's not going to come apart. So then, once I get all these signatures done, all I have to do is sew them in, and the journal's done. So that's fun, right? I hope you're enjoying this. I'm enjoying it. It's something fun and different, and I'm going through a lot of the stuff I've been accumulating. I don't have a lot of space to store my craft supplies, let alone this kind of stuff. So the drawer I was putting everything in was really overflowing. So I'm glad to be able to get it out and use it. And I'm really having fun doing it. So I hope you are following along and at least collecting trash, and so that you can make one of these journals for yourself. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment and please give me a thumbs up. I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day. Bye-bye.